You do not need a therapist if you own a motorcycle, any kind of motorcycle. I don't like people lying to me. I don't like people who don't return my calls. I don't like people who won't give me a straight answer. I don't like those kinds of people, and I've been vocal about it. Am I a trance medium? No. Have I got a gift psychically? Absolutely not. But I believe in the survival of consciousness after death. My whole thing is to entertain, make people laugh, and to forget about the real world for a while. Folks have to pin me down because, for one thing, I don't have a laptop. I don't have an iPhone, and I refuse to carry them because they're immensely hackable. I have this kind of mild nice guy exterior, but inside my heart is like a steel trap. I could live on challah bread, the Jewish kosher bread, quite happily. You know, I've sold a lot of bad movies in my time. I could sell used battery acid and make it fly. I don't need fame anymore. People are less interested in me in terms of celebrity. I'm happy to see a new generation being the media focus. I'm happy my day is done. It's over. And I believe that if a man dies with a single penny still sitting in the bank, he's a fool. Greetings in death to our enemies. I grew up on the edge of a national park in Canada, timberwolves, creeks, snowdrifts. We must come to the point where we realize the concept of race is a false one. There is only one race, the human race. Politics has got too personal, too nasty, in Britain, as it has in America. I accept skeptics. You've got to have challenges. Hygiene is important. That's one of my failings. So I'm always being called on that. I get offers all the time from filmmakers, but they are unknown quantities. I don't go there and do experiments. Heaven to me is percussion and bass, a screaming guitar, and a burbling Hammond B3 organ. It's a soup I love being immersed in. I live in a high-rise with my family part of the year in New York, and I don't know 3/4 of the people in the building. We live in the same square footage, and I wouldn't know who they were. I love to come in and play with a wig or glasses or clothes. I love using props. I'm from the Peter Sellers school of trying to prepare for the character. There's huge, massive mother ships going up to the Yukon. They've been filmed and are on video. Well, the common enemy in North America is the Western consumer. The consumer has driven oil up to $50 a barrel, so we have to have these wars. I think it's incumbent upon us to. You look at the floor and see the floor. I look at the floor and see molecules. I've always been a big fan of science fiction and of the worlds of the spiritual and the mystic. The entertainment business is not the be-all and end-all for me. I had a slight touch of Tourette's, which means you talk to yourself and bark and cry out at night. American Society for Psychical Research journals were all around the house when I was a kid. We have the most beautiful planet, the Rockies, the purple fields of the United States, the Lake District, the Pyrenees, the turquoise seas of the tropics. I'd make a bad preacher. My great-grandfather, Sam Aykroyd, was a dentist in Kingston, Ontario, and he was also an Edwardian spiritualist researcher who was very interested in what was going on in the invisible world, the survival of the consciousness, precipitated paintings, mediumship, and trance-channeling. Parodies of commercials are by no means new and have been popular going back to black and white TV shows of the 50s. People love gentle larceny. I live in Canada in the summer and sometime in the fall. Everyone fears the cut of the blade. It doesn't matter after that. I know the spirit survives as there is so much evidence of the survival of the personality in the afterlife. I had a slight touch of Tourette's, which means you talk to yourself and bark and cry out at night. I find myself talking to myself sometimes. I think I'm a narcoleptic. I could sleep on a railway track with a train running over me, in between the rails. I grew up on the edge of a national park in Canada, timberwolves, creeks, snowdrifts. I really did have to walk home 6 miles through the snow, like your grandparents used to complain. Groundhog Day was one of the greatest comedies ever made. Hollywood is in love with any kind of nostalgia that can prove itself to be commercial. I bought an island in 1987. It's in one of the lakes in Canada. I went around it in my boat and went to the real estate office and bought it. It's the best $65,000 I've ever spent. My family camp on it and we have great times there. Certainly the format of ghost busting lends itself to a video game beautifully. There's that old theory that humankind and this planet were seen as the center of the universe. That was thrown away. How could we be so presumptuous? Well, I subscribe to that. Have I personally ever seen a ghost? Not one. I am a spiritualist, a proud wearer of the spiritualist badge. The right-wingers everywhere take themselves too seriously, whether in the US or the UK. And, by the way, so does the left. The left can take itself a little too seriously as well. When I'm not acting, I'm writing, building an inventory of scripts. Even if they sit on the shelf, I just keep stacking them up. My first jobs were all civil service. At 14, I worked for the Canadian National Railways. At 16, I worked for the Canadian Penitentiary Service.